So here we are looking at the slave cylinder. This is the wrench right on the slave cylinder leader nut, and I'll be turning that counterclockwise about a half a turn, and when I do that I will push the pedal in on the handlebar right there. Okay, so and then what'll happen is that'll push fluid out the hose into the can below it. Okay, so here we go, and I'll do that until I see nice clear fluid come out of the hose, because we're going to be pushing the dirty fluid through from the top down through the system all the way out the slave cylinder, so we have all fresh fluid in the whole system. While we do this, we have to be careful that the reservoir on top doesn't go too low and suck air into the system. If it does, if we should forget to keep filling it and it sucks air into the system, we have to start all over again, because there will be bubbles somewhere from the top in the line coming down through. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to pull in, push in the clutch. Clutch is pushed in. I'm going to open this up, and I can feel the clutch release. And nothing's coming out of the well. A few drops have come out of the bottom. I'm going to close this again up here before I let go of the clutch. I'm letting go of the clutch. So when I let go of the clutch, new fluid started to fill that reservoir, from the reservoir into the system. So I'm going to pull the clutch in again, open the wrench, and it's released again. And I'm going to keep doing this over and over again. It's really doesn't take that long, because once I start doing it, moving along here, it goes pretty fast. So clutch in, open the valve, close the valve, clutch out. Clutch in, open the valve, close the valve, clutch out. Now I'm going to check my fluid. Looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and add some more. I don't want to take a chance on sucking air. Okay, so I'm a good over 3/4 full. So clutch in, open the valve, clutch out. Valve close, clutch out. In, open valve, out. I'm just going to do this without speaking for a moment so I can get it moving along. You can double pedal the clutch a couple of times, because that'll help push any air down through the system. So clutch in, clutch out, clutch in, clutch out, clutch in, open the valve, clutch out. So I've got the cover back on. When I put the bolts on, you got to be careful that you use proper torque measurements on it. Look up the specifications for those bolts, because if you over tighten them, the next time you try to loosen them, they'll break. So unless you have a very good feel for bolts and how tight they should be, do not tighten them without using the correct torque specifications. Okay, which won't be much. All right, so I've got the cover on. Everything's cleaned up down there. Right now, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the top part, getting the top back together. So the thing is this is the metal plate. It's clean. I'm going to make sure that we're filled up with fluid, top floor fluid, and we'll take care of that real quick. Okay, that's nice and full. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rubber seal and I'm going to clean it. The rubber seal, and I want to clean it and reset it. Okay, so obviously it shouldn't be popped out like that. That was because it was low on fluid. And what that does is that keeps the fluid from mixing around. That fills in space. That fills in the space when it runs out of low on fluid, so that there's no air in there causing it to slosh around while you're driving. And if air gets into your system, then your clutch won't work anymore. Same with the brakes. Okay, so I'm putting this back together here. I'm going to go ahead and rinse it off real quick with Now brake fluid can mess these up. You got to be careful putting brake fluid on some things. This is a it's a rubber neoprene seal, and if you put too much, if you put brake cleaner on it, it's too caustic, and what it'll do is it'll cause it to warp even more than this is already warped. So I'm just going to simply take a towel and I'm going to wipe this out on both sides so that it's nice and clean, or reasonably clean, and then reshape it back together like it is right now. And we're going to set it in between the top and the reservoir. The only thing that belongs on these kinds of rubbers is brake fluid. As a matter of fact, I think that's what I'll do. I'll just take some brake fluid and pour it over the top and let that remove any hidden lint, that sort of stuff that's on here, and then I'll blow it off with an air hose. That's what I'll be doing right now. So what I've done is I've cleaned the seal that goes in here. I've filled the reservoir all the way up, put the seal on, put a towel underneath there to catch any excess that overflowed when I put the cap on, and put the cap on, put the screws in, and reasonably tighten the screws, not too tight, but tight. And so now it's ready to go. Clutch feels good. I'm going to have to ride it to know whether it actually corrected the problem or not. I may need to actually replace the plates in the clutch. They may be worn that far, but I won't know till I ride it. So this is good old Joe, over and out.